Warrior, got my flag, and it's so motherfucking shit. 2025 to the high. My enemies, they don't need me to survive. If I die, want to die. I can try to kill a nigga for 400 years. You feel me? Listen, bitch, when Chris got shot 8 times, I was a downtown bitch, talking to the prosecutor, dropping dimes. No, bitch, the Chris ain't dying, but I'm flying. Astral projections, real shit, music like a genius. Bringing this thing to rap style back to this format. Get the cash, get the hoes, you know how the game go. MOP, money over all bullshit. If it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. If you do some bitch niggas, y'all got me bent. Y'all talking that bitch shit, say it in my face, bitch. You know better, you get your ass kicked or end up in the casket. Drastic situation, wanna go fix a day for a nigga like me. It made me a motherfucking warrior. Cause this speed, motherfucker, I'm an explorer. So to see, this a motherfucking warrior. Y'all this sweet bitch, can't keep you destroying that corner. So to see, this a motherfucking warrior. It's in my bloodline, BS, I'm a warrior.
Peace and black power, peace and black power, peace and black power. Greetings to all Africans around the globe. Greetings to all my Africans around the globe. You know what it is. We back with another one. Underground Warrior TV, you know, we back. We back with a prominent video, an enlightenment video, things that we recognize every day. And we may not just pay attention to it because it's so prevalent. And I want to talk about my biracial Africans who think that they may be better than non-biracial Africans. Non-Africans don't even consider us as human beings. And they are the majority in thinking in that manner. So the brainwash of our people look lowly down on self because the world itself is set up on the caste system where everybody tally up against the darker people of the planet. And black people, we are living in the last month of 2025. And it's a damn shame that some of us black people still suffer from a mental health problem, a mental health disease called mental side slavery, where a people who have been programmed like a robot to hate self. Decolonization of the mind of black people is very essential for us as a people if we're going to move up and rise as black people, which is prophesied for us to rise. I know we're going to rise. I see the signs of black people rising with the African brothers and sisters on the continent of Africa who are now pushing back, being dominated by the white imperialists. That is another subject, but I see the sign when I see black people in Africa raising their mental awareness that serving white supremacy is holding the continent back, holding African countries back. So decolonization for the African in America is very essential. It's very vital if we are to lead, because by 2050, I don't know what America's going to look like, but America won't be the super world power in 2050. The place that we as a people been programmed to hate, Africa, will be a super world power in 2050, maybe before then. So we've been programmed like robots to hate self. Black people had no self-worth because the white supremacists who ruled the world, who ruled this world, has set the stage that whiteness is greater than any other race on the planet. That's why some biracial people feel somewhat as a people who are superior to people that are non-white or people who are black, African, or whatever. Some biracial people feel that they may be better than darker people on the planet. The desirable, the desirable race is the white race. You got to be fair. Fair-skinned is the desirable standard that white supremacy set. So sometimes our biracial Africans get caught up in the web of believing this misnomer that if you are white, you are greater than black. So some of our biracial people unconsciously or subconsciously, what I want to say, may grab on to some of that misnomer that having white skin or having white DNA running through your veins that you much greater than the darker people of the earth because the European set that standard. So in a historical context, slavery and colonialism in the United States on the slave plantation set that tone because the slave masters will often give preferential treatment towards their offspring, which would be fair skinned, darkened than the Africans that had not been tainted with the Caucasian blood. Because of the DNA of the slave master, from rape of an African woman. Some biracial people during slavery may be able to receive a college education based on being the slave master's child. And they can always use the biracial African against Africans. That was one of the things that William Lynch put the light skin against the dark skin. So they will always use that mechanism to keep black people disunified because, this video is not a knock on biracial Africans because I love all my biracial Africans as long as they identify with being black because we know black is a state of mind. In fact, some of my heroes that were revolutionaries were of biracial African, you know what I'm saying? So I'm just speaking on the aspect of some biracial people in their mind. It's embedded that they're better than black people that have not been tainted with the white bloodline. You feel what I'm saying? So slavery had a lot to do with it. It was beneficial, during the time of slavery. If you had the white man's blood running through your veins, you may be able to, work in the house next to the master. You know what I'm saying? You didn't have to work in the high field, like darker skinned people. You know what I'm saying? Had to pick that cotton. You feel me? The slave master, he created a social economic hierarchy based on skin tone, because back in the day, they would not hire you if you wasn't, fair skinned. They could see that you've been tainted with the slave master blood. They may give you a chance at a job. We talking about coming up in the 50s and the 60s, 70s, 80s, and the 90s, all the way up to now. Your skin can play, a big part. We talking about right now, 2025. You got some people who base their criteria for certain job elements that you have to be a certain skin tone. And society has already painted the movie that the darker you are, the more evil that you may be. You know what I'm saying? They did a study with little white girls with baby dolls. Which one would be the evil one? She always went to the darker baby doll. You see what I'm saying? Cause this is geared into and embedded in society's head. Even black people have took hold of this negative premise of black people. You see what I'm saying? So this not a knock against biracial people in general. You know what I mean? But the perception that biracial people, think that they are more superior than dark-skinned people, we know it's a big misnomer. We know that. But it's a very complex dynamic, because this shit is rooted in colorism. It's a phenomenon, uh, you know, for people from mixed race, to come up with this perception that they are greater. Where did they get it from? You know what I'm saying? Uh, but it's a very minority of biracial people who feel that they are superior uh, to black people based on because they're from a mixed genetic. You know what I mean? It's a small minority, but it can be a problem. Any small cancer can turn, drastic if we don't catch it in its, proper stage, in its proper time. You see what I'm saying? So it's a problem when they can use the biracial African against, African people who have not been tainted with the European blood. You feel what I'm saying? Um, um, see, uh, this is rooted in colorism. People who think that they're better than non-mixed race black people are a small minority. I told you it is a small minority of black, white, biracial people. I want to say that just had this perception that they're greater than darker skinned people of the earth, but a small piece of cancer can turn into a drastic, situation. So we want to, speak on this because it goes down. They still play the light skin against the dark skin. That's the William Lynch uh, syndrome. Some people say William Lynch letter is not real, but what I'm trying to say, it parallels on and correlates to how black people act today. And you have to agree. You see what I'm saying? Black parents of a biracial child that is black, most of the time have a self-hate issue. And that's why they dated outside the race. Psychological slavery damaged black people. Feel me? Psychological slavery damaged our people. They programmed us with garbage. Their knowledge of who we are as a people on the slave plantation, they didn't get the truth to us. They made a slave. They made a nigga right here in America. You see what I'm saying? But once you know your self-worth and know who you are as black people, especially as a black man, you got to stand on nothing but supreme wisdom and knowledge and stand 100, you know what I'm saying, against the white supremacists. Masculinity at all time when you're going at the white supremacists. I know they say masculinity toxic. We ain't gonna believe that though. Yeah, they want us to be feminine, rappers in dresses and skinny jeans and all this old crazy stuff. Trying to feminize the warrior because they know their time is up. You know what I'm saying? Genetic annihilation is a real phenomenon, for real. Um, Psychological slavery damaged black people. It is a shame that some black people have European values. How you have a European value just because you have their blood. You're looking for some special treatment and you see the world through European values, but you're black. You see what I'm saying? And black people, we are programmed to think black is evil and white is greater. We think white is greater. We do that. Black women, you push the narrative all the time. Black women be on board when they see a black woman with a white man, but she gets mad when she sees a black man with a white woman. Why is that? Some woman said that she sees a black man weak when she sees him walking down the street with a Caucasian woman. There's a weakness in him. But if she sees a black woman walking down the street with a white man, she sees that the black woman was just tired, fed up with the black man's bullshit. This is the narrative that's always been painted. The shiny white prince coming on the white horse to save the black queen. This is what they want to do because of the genetic annihilation. Well, you would say would be genetic suicide, but it's to program the biracial kid to go against black people so they can use biracial kids to go against the rise of black people. This is what's going to happen. It's a small minority of biracial Africans who think they are greater than darker skinned people. It's a small minority, but the white supremacist is going to use that. And this is why he pushes in the commercials, pushes in magazines, push on YouTube, social media. You even got a zaddy community of black women talking bullshit about black men, and this is why they date the Caucasian caveman. You feel what I'm saying? So, that's just the way it is. So they paint, us as wicked. Black men ain't this, black man ain't that. You know what I'm saying? But we ain't worried about it because we know the real deal. Holyfield, when you start doing research, you understand why they had to create a fantasy and paint themselves as God. That's why white Jesus was introduced. You feel what I'm saying? So it's a shame that some black people have European values. Black people who are brainwashed think it's very important to be always in the proximity to whiteness, because whiteness is associated with privilege. Do y'all believe that? That whiteness associated with privilege? Is that why some Negroes, they just lose their mind when they see white people, you know what I'm saying, frown up at you and you look just like them? That's called a slave, because this is what they embedded in the slave. On the William Lynch letter, you could read it, have them worship us and let us, be the one they depend upon. But at all means, keep the old and the young at war, the male and the female, keep them bickering among each other and create jealousy. This is how you rule the nigga for the next 500 years. This is what William Lynch told the slave masters in this country in 1712 in Virginia, Jamestown, Virginia. You feel what I'm saying? Named after King James of the Bible, who was also a slave owner. Some religious people freaking out and call King James a black man. King James of Buckingham Palace, a slave owner who owned the Testament, the New Testament that you read, your Bible that you read. It's owned by the church in England, which was ran by who? Paid for by who? King James, slave owner, Buckingham Palace. Don't get him confused. He wasn't the original man. Stop the lies. But through some experience, y'all, being a black man, I can elaborate on this particular subject with some clarity, because observation, it can be your best teacher. I observe how biracial people attitude and how black people who are not biracial, but they are fed into the misnomer that maybe the biracial individual is more smarter than the dark-skinned individual. I've experienced this in my own life around biracial Africans and how they treated the dark-skinned Africans. How they thought, their whole process thought they was most superior. in all aspects. You know what I'm saying? It could be, you could be in conversation with them and tell them a particular situation about a car. Let's use a car for example. The car is kicking out from the tailpipe black smoke. I may say that you need to have your engine looked at because it's not supposed to be kicking out black smoke. They may say you need a tune-up. Well, the darker skinned people would take the light skinned biracial person's word as being more prominent than mine's because I'm dark skinned. You see what I'm saying? Whites are smarter. And in some people's head, whites are smarter than black people. That's just the way the world has been set up on a caste system. That's just the way it is. Then you have your, what they call those, Margaret Sanger's one of them, eugenics, Margaret Sanger, yeah. Planned Parenthood, you know, they named Planned Parenthood after a woman, Margaret Sanger, who aborted black babies from black women illegally. You know what I'm saying? That, you know, she came up with the notion that we should kill black babies. She said we should kill black babies out her mouth, and that was Hillary Clinton's hero. For you Negroes who always say the Democrats is for blacks. The Democrats break our back just like the Republicans. They ain't no love. But on this biracial thing, I just want to break, you know, this news to you people who are biracial Africans. You're not greater than us because the police still bust you upside your head, still treat you less than a human being, even though you may have some caveman blood running through your veins, you still tainted with that holy blood of black people, and they hate you. So don't get so swole up in your head just because you've been programmed to love whiteness over blackness that you something greater. Don't forget, you have African blood running through your veins and they can see it. It's the dominant gene on the planet. The dominant gene, the dominant people genetically are black people. Genetically, hands down, hands down. So I'm proud to be who I am. You see what I'm saying, as a black man. But don't get it twisted, biracial people, you're no greater. Don't get it twisted, dark-skinned people, you no greater than our biracial Africans. Because we don't have it together. The darkest people on the planet don't have shit together as a people. We all suffer from a psychosis. But it's okay, because we rise, and I see the signs, and it's our time. Black conscience has been on the rise. You feel me? Hey, I know what it is. Go ahead and mash up them likes. You know, Underground Warrior TV, I'm gone.